Yeah, I think we are live now. Just going to check. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi. Good day. How are you? How is your day? Yes, we're live. All right. So, welcome to the New Not a Novice Nurse podcast. Okay, YouTube talk, and this is episode 6. Yeah, episode 6. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, everyone. So glad to be here. I'm very glad to be here to talk again. The weekend was very busy. I couldn't do any episode. I couldn't do any recording. So welcome. I want to welcome every one of you again. This is episode 6 of the Share Your Story of Transition, right? Thank you so much for joining in. Today, I'm going to be sharing continue my story. Remember that we are talking about the story of internationally educated nurses who had transitioned from their home country to another country, sharing their stories, sharing their struggles, sharing their pain and their successes as well. So for today, I don't have any guests, and that is to say, like if you are an international educated nurse or aspiring to be, and you would like to share your story, your journey so far on this podcast, please, you can send me an email, nursecoachala@gmail.com, or just put a message down there or DM me, whichever way you're watching from. We're also live on Instagram, and then wherever you're watching this from, just make sure that you follow Nurse Coachala Online Karemo. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe. Yeah, I went out today. Part of work. I was at the Irish Kidney Association launch of their organ donation awareness week. And after that, I went back to work, So just coming back, I figure like, well, I want to do a video. Let me just do an episode and keep it there. Continue to share my story. The New Not a Novice Nurse is a book, a guide for internationally educated nurses who want to thrive, in their country where they are practicing now. Because, as a background, for those who might just be pardon my voice, for those who might just be watching this for the first time or listening to me for the first time, I wrote this book and it's set to be launched during the International Nurses Week, which is the week of May 6th to May 12th, right? So look out for that, and you can pre-order the book via the website. I'll use the link in my bio or in my profile there. You find the link. So I just want to put this out there to all international educated nurses, whichever country you are working at the moment. I know that embarking on this international adventure to you might be, full of twists and turns. So I just want to say here that, you should lean on support of friends and allies, trust in your own resilience to guide you through the storm, because it is in the moment of challenge and uncertainty that you discover the true depth of your strengths. And this is my story, and that is when you can unlock doors to a world of endless possibilities. Again, you may be new, but you are not a novice. So you need to thrive where you are. You don't have to survive. You don't have to keep managing. You can thrive. That is my message to you. You can thrive. It's not just surviving or managing. You can thrive. So how to go about this, that is what you find in this book, right? So there are so many challenges that internationally educated nurses go through. Of course, you know that. And if you want to share, please feel free. I think the better, the more we share our struggles, the better our success story will be very resounding, right? People want to see that, somebody went through this. That means, I'm not alone. So, and one thing that is very important that I need to emphasize is that within every internationally educated nurse, indeed, within every individual, there are multitudes of untapped potentials and abilities. I feel that internationally educated nurses are not, utilizing their potentials or, ultimately, optimally. So, and that's because sometimes we have this imposter syndrome, which I'm going to talk about, and there are more details about that in the book, New Not a Novice Notes, that you might want to check out. However, I believe that, transition from one's home country to a new land bring, a lot of pressure, this disappointment, struggles, frustration, and all this can drain, your reserve of confidence and capability. But I tell you that this book, New Not a Novice Nurse, will inspire you, will guide you and support. Just trust me, it will help you to unlock your full potential during, your transition. I moved to Ireland, it's my 7th year. It's going to be 7 years actually, precisely by July. And I have grown. I have grown. There was a time I was struggling, but I've gone past that. And so why would you go through the same if somebody has gone through that successfully? So, and this is my message to you today. Again, please, if you're a nurse or an international educated nurse, even a student nurse or a mature nurse or an aspiring nurse, you want to become a nurse, I think it's important that you get this book as well to prepare you ahead, for the journey to come. We know that the world, there's a global migration now. So apart from you seeking career advancement or seeking for a greener pasture, there could be time that you need to move to another country just in your role as a nurse, in your profession. So you need to understand how you can adapt well to a different culture, despite all the challenges, how you can thrive. And I keep using that word. There are key things that you need, which most of us, we didn't get a chance to have this information. So we struggle through it. So if I were you, I would take this very seriously. And at the moment, the ebook is on pre-order, and it's €9.95. After the launch, it's going to go up to €20, or more. Then, we will conclude on the paperback. Like I've said this in the previous episode, that the content of this book, I can't even exhaust, what, the information, all the knowledge, all the experience. I can't exhaust it in the book. That's why I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing, all these live sessions to also bring out some things that might not have gone into the book. Okay. So now I said I was going to talk about something important today, and that's the imposter syndrome. But before I go into that, I met for the first time my mentor, my new mentor. So I got a new mentor additionally. So, sometimes as you go on in your different areas, you find a mentor in this area. If you go to another sphere, you're looking for a mentor. And for those that know me, that I'm very, very passionate about mentorship. Either in nursing or in healthcare or in, generally in life, mentorship is very important. I'm a mentor myself, and I also train people to be mentor, coach people to be mentor as well. So if you're interested, you can look up for that. But that is not the focus of today. Anyway, so I met with my new mentor yesterday, and there's a word that she used that has stuck with me since yesterday, and I want to share here as well. She did say that, when we were talking about, I was trying to ask her questions about, her journey and all that. And she said, no one has opened any door for me in, like she was saying it, like in a career, that no one has opened any door for me. Apparently she's also a migrant, so to say. She's a native, but who had moved to another country, but had to come back to Ireland. So she said, nobody has opened any door for me, that every door that I have opened, I opened by force. And when I open and I get in, I keep the door ajar so that other people could come in. I'd make sure that the door is not closed behind me. And when she said that, I was like, wow. I had to take a pen and write it down. And that sense, I've been reflecting on that some people, find, especially, let me bring it down to international educated nurses now. Sometimes we struggle to even get access to certain things and certain resources. And that's where we should have gone to, or the level we should have gotten to in 10 years, or let me even say in 1 year. We are still struggling with it in 10 years. yeah, we're still struggling. And that's because nobody opened any door or the door was closed, right? I'm just using that as analog now. But if someone else have gone through that door and kept the door open, then access to those things become easier. And I just want to use this opportunity to encourage all, international nurses. If you're doing well, you're thriving where you are, please mentor someone, mentor another internationally educated nurse, open the door for another international educator, because the struggle is real. Honestly, the struggle is real, and nurses are getting frustrated out of the profession. And with this, the workforce, nursing shortages all over the world, we don't want to lose any other nurse, So we need to retain our nurses, and that's why saying has been emphasizing. So if you are, an essential educated nurse or a nurse out there, and you have gotten up there or you're thriving, please open the door for others. Hold the hand of another IN, international educated nurse, mentor another international educated nurse. It is very important, and that is how we can thrive as a community. It doesn't matter either you're from Nigeria or India or wherever. As a community, that is how we can thrive. Mentorship is very important. So, and sometimes, like you said, that she has forced the doors open. And this, sometimes I reflect on this as well, that some of the things I have achieved, I had to be very resilient. You have to, I think I talked about self-advocacy in the last episode, which is very important. And I wrote a little about it as well in the book. And this one I'm talking about as well, it's also in the book, mentorship. Sometimes standing up for yourself, sometimes, being resilient and not giving up, not just taking no for an answer. Sometimes you have to force the door open so that you can get the access. I'm not saying forcing like you being violent, but like you being persistent and consistent, in what you want. So today, episode is just me. A lot has been happening, over the days, and even the thought of the book coming out has been very overwhelming for me, having to talk to my book consultant and, getting ready for publishing and all that and the date. So it's kind of overwhelming, but I just want to put this word out there just in case you didn't get the book, which, well, of course, I hope that you will get the book. Very important. I hope you get a book. Please get a book. Get the book. A lot of resources, time, and resources have gone into this. So I'm begging, please pre-order. And you can actually, even if you're not a nurse, you can get it for a nurse. You can give it as a gift, a nurse's week gift to a nurse that you care about, because I tell you, when the struggle comes, even if you're not a nurse, if you have a nurse that is going through the struggle, you will also feel it. You experience the struggle as well. So let me go. What imposter syndrome? I want to continue my story. So I think the last time I stopped was when I started working in the acute hospital. I moved from a nursing home to acute hospital, and when I got to the acute hospital, I was placed in the care of the older units, in that hospital. So to me, somehow I felt like, well, it's similar to nursing. I was calling it, the way I refer to it, like a senior nursing home, because they're still all older people. The only difference is that they have acute care need, like they are really sick, so they need to be looked after. And some of them would have come from a nursing home as well. Some would maybe from home. So it was still like older people centered, and there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of policy and protocols when it comes to care of the other person. And understanding, those principles is very important to you as a nurse if you happen to work in the care of the other person. And irrespective of where you're working as well, it is important that you understand the principles and policies, of your work environment. So for me, I had to take time. I enrolled in the National Fertility Program, which is a program that really focus on the older people, especially when they are very free, or different types of any other age group that are fertility is not just limited to older people anyways. So I took the National Fluency Program. I had that, and trainings like getting to know how to use the comprehensive geriatric assessment for the older people. Is very important. Safeguarding is another, training that is very important, in the care of the other person. Safeguarding, either abuse and all those ones, very important. We also did training on palliative care, so palliative care, pressure ulcer assessments, using of Waterloo and all that. So it was a lot, but you have to learn it so that you can give quality care. So, and after some time, then I was asked if I would like to move to the ED because I think they were short at that time. I could have said no because I didn't really have, emergency department experience, but I wanted to know more. Yeah, I wanted to know more. I wanted to improve my skill, my nursing skill. I wanted to also improve my pace. When you're working in acute hospital, it's a fast-paced environment. So for some of us, like you were working in a nursing home before, you need to work on your pace. You need to work on your critical judgment. Critical thinking, being able to make sound and reasonable, appropriate judgments very fast. So I knew that I was kind of lacking in that area given my background. So and rather than just saying no when the opportunity came or when the request came to move to emergency department, I didn't say no. So I said yes, and that was my reason. Even though I had some people say, oh, how are you going to survive there? Yeah, but I took that challenge. So that's one thing to you again, that don't be too comfortable in that, you just want to, that routine. You go in the morning, go on your break, and after that come back home, maybe take 2 days break, holiday, 2 days break, and then you go back and it becomes routine. Fine, but why that is good as a foundation, but over time you need to start looking out for opportunities to improve yourself first. I always say that there's no how that you want to change the world if you don't change yourself. You can't change the world. You can't change the healthcare system if you don't change yourself. And this change that we're talking about starts from you improving yourself, improving your skills. Right. So that helped me. So I got to the ED. Well, the first few weeks, or I would say 1 or 2 weeks, it was, oh my God, you can imagine, I was struggling. But the system there, you have your caseload. I think the minimum or the maximum that you would get for a patient would be 6. And the way it is, I'm not in triage, so it was just when they are in the main bay, the patients are in the main bay. So it was still providing all this nursing care, although very fast paced. And one gift that I actually eventually got working in the emergency was venous puncture, and cannulation. I've always loved to do this, but I didn't work in an environment where I could do. Even back in Nigeria, then nurses were not allowed to do IV cannulation and all that. It was a doctor's procedure. So, and of course, we are working in ED. That's the first skill. That's the something that you should have. We had to do it. So I did the training, and I was loving it, and that helped me as well. So because when a patient come, you need to get the bloods, put the IV in. If they need fluids, if they need antibiotics, all these are ready, so that quickly they can get treated and then they can move. So that was a beautiful gift. That was one thing I'll never that it was a skill that I knew I needed, and I was able to get, and that was because I moved to ED. Peradventure, if I was still up in the older person department, I might not have even thought of doing that because it wasn't like something requirements there. So I got that skill and I worked there, and so many other things, that I got exposed to while working in the ED. So, but as you move on, in life, if you move on in your career, especially at the start, sometimes you have this imposter syndrome and you feel like you don't know enough, or maybe you're not good enough. So imposter syndrome is very common, and it affects, a lot of internationally educated nurses. Yes, it affects internationally educated. But how can you, go about this? How can you recover? How can you overcome imposter syndrome as an internationally educated nurses? I wrote a lot about this in this book. So again, like I said, I'm encouraging you to get this. If you can overcome imposter syndrome, the sky is the limit. You start flying. You start flying, and people will actually seek your skill and your experience. Yeah, I know it's an Irish thing to be humble when somebody tries to compliment, but this is not the case. Like, you need to really show your stuffs. Let me put it that way. Not like a show off, but definitely you need to be able to let. If I was talking to some colleagues, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, that if a patient or a colleague does not understand what you're talking about, it's really hard for them to really trust you, because one, you can't believe what you don't understand. No, you can't believe what you don't understand. So it's you working on yourself to make sure that you're communicating well, first of all, and then your patient and then your colleagues can, really trust your decision, you understand, or how you arrived at a decision. So again, to overcome imposter syndrome, it requires you to, first of all, you need to acknowledge and normalize feelings. So it's okay, all right? It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to feel that, that self-doubt, it's okay. Don't beat yourself too hard about it. It's okay to have self-doubt. All right. Acknowledge your feelings of self-doubt. Acknowledge your feelings of self-doubt. Very important, right? 1 second. Okay. So acknowledge your feelings of self-doubt, and that's the first step to recognize that it is common. You are not alone, especially in an unfamiliar environment. And the other thing that you need to do, like I said, I wrote extensively on this in the book, is to challenge negative self-talk. Sometimes we tell ourselves by saying, well, that's not my strength, or I'm not good at that. Why will you say you're not good at that? You can be good at that. Or you say, like, a lot of things, what negative self-talk. So, and how you can overcome this is, what, reminders of your skill, positive affirmations, accomplish, celebrate every success, every win, celebrate it. If you were able to achieve a skill, like when I eventually know how to do every cannulation, oh my god, I was all over all over the moon. So you need to be able to do this as well, while you're focusing on your strengths and the progress you have made, rather than dwelling on passive shortcomings. I know sometimes if we make some mistake, kind of draw us back, but that shouldn't be your story. So talking about, celebrating your successes and accomplishments. As part of this 30 days book launch campaign, we will be starting, what's the date again? We'll be starting the Brag About Your Nursing Skill Challenge. Yeah, so the Brag About Your Nursing Skill Challenge, which I call BNSC, which is like Bachelor's of Nursing Sciences. Brag About Your Nursing Skill Challenge. So it's BNSC. What this is about, just make a statement, or maybe you want to write a paragraph or something, just write something about your proudest moment as a nurse, or a skill that you're so proud of, something that you're very good at. Celebrate that strength in a statement and tag new not a novice nurse. Just say hashtag new not a novice nurse and tag myself, Nurse Kochola or Line Karemu, depending on the platform that you're using. Just make sure. So the thing is, we want to encourage nurses to really celebrate themselves. I know sometimes we're looking for people to clap for us, things like that, or we want people clap, we want that people to appreciate our value. But do you really appreciate your own value? Especially like talking about internationally educated nurses. Like, I find that sometimes when you feel that way, that you're not good enough, do you know that if we're not good enough, you won't be in this country or in that country that you are in the first place? You are actually qualified. Some are even overqualified. We have some We have some doctors, actually, guys. We have some doctors that doctor in nursing that are working as staff nurse. They have to start that way. So you have enough. Like if you don't have that value, nobody will bring you. We will employ you in the first place. So you are valuable. You have the resources. You have the skills. So why don't you celebrate it? Why do you let maybe one mistake to make you feel less? So this challenge is to encourage and to celebrate your strengths as nationally educated nurse, because guess what? You are only new. You are not a novice. Yeah, you're not a novice. So stop feeling like a novice. So you need to celebrate yourself. So how to participate in that, like I said, using any of the platform, Instagram or Facebook, whichever one that you're using, just write or post your strongest, your proudest moment as a nurse in a statement, hashtag brag about your nurse, or you can put BNSC or brag about your nursing skill challenge, hashtag new nurse and novice nurse, and tag nurse Coachella or online Karemu. This is for you, and there are a lot of prizes. So for 10 winners, which will be selected by a neutral panel, 10 winners will get my book free, the ebook free. They'll get some merchandise, the new Not a Novice merchandise, which I'll be posting very soon. They'll get 100%, so like now, access to NCO community, where you be in a community of like-minded, and you have access to a lot of my services and products as well, especially the mentorship program and like a one-on-one access to me. And we're also looking out for cash prize, so we will be getting cash prize as well for this challenge. In another video, in another post, I'm going to talk more about this, so be on the lookout. I think we are starting on April 20th, so for a week up until the week of the launch, and then we will announce the winner. So be on the lookout. So thank you so much. If you are a nurse, can you just share this video with another nurse, another international educated nurse out there, so that they can be encouraged, and let them know that they can actually thrive. They can be successful, they can do well as an internationally educated nurse, and you don't have to feel inferior or feel let down or feel, all the self-doubt about yourself, which is very important. Again, look out for the link in the comments if you want to join my campaign team. So the book campaign team, there's a lot of benefits. Anyways, I can't even finish. There's a lot of benefits. I made a post earlier about it. Joining my book campaign team, all you just have to do is to help us get the word out, of this book out to every part of the world. Like, so we are not restricted to any location. You can join from anywhere and help us to promote the book, New Not a Novice Nurse. I actually really want from the bottom of my heart that every internationally educated nurse will thrive, will be successful. I want to see you grow. I want to see you, I want to be able to put a spotlight on you. I want to be able to invite and say, or even see your poster somewhere or your picture somewhere, and just share to celebrate your strengths, because I know of the struggle. I know of, what it takes as an essential educated nurse, and I really want to support you. And this is one way I can support you and be there for you. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode. I told you that it's going to be very short. We have no guests today. But if you would like to be a guest, if you would like to come up on to share your story, which I'm actually encouraging. I know international educated nurse, American, sometimes we don't want to talk, we don't want to share. I don't know what it is. Maybe we feel like, oh, people will know, will make me, maybe I will feel, I don't know, why are you not sharing your story? Why are you not talking about your journey, the pain? Talk about it, right? Because there's no point you going through that for just going through sake. It could help other people. And I don't believe in this thing that, well, I went through it, then you have to go through it. No, that's not right. Remember, like I said earlier, that if you get a door open and you go through the door, either you open it yourself, you force it open, or somebody open it for you. Please make sure to hold the door for the next person, to come in. And as much as possible, if you can keep the door open so that others can come in as well. So thank you. I wish you a very good evening. Please share this video wherever time you're watching it and let me know where you're watching from. If you have any question, please ask. Please don't forget to use the pre-order. Very important. Pre-order this book. Okay, I'm very tired now. Pre-order the book and you will get your ebook right in your email as soon as it is launched. And if you want the paperback, I'll give more information about the paperback after launch. So have a lovely day. Bye for now.
Can we talk?